Hello, and welcome to LSET Tech Byte. Today, we have an exciting project in store for you. We're going to learn how to create a simple yet powerful weather app using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Let's dive right in. Here we have our HTML code. It's the foundation of our weather app. In the head section, we first define the document type and the language. Then, we set the viewport to ensure proper rendering on various devices. Next, we set the title of our web page to Weather App. Now, let's move to the body section. Here, we have the top banner of our app. It contains the heading Weather App and a form for users to input the city they want to check the weather for. This input field allows users to type in the name of the city they're interested in. And here's the Submit button. When users click on it, we'll fetch the weather data for the city they entered. This span will be used to display any messages or errors to the user. Moving on to the Ajax section, this is where we'll dynamically display the weather data for the cities users search for. We'll populate this list with the weather information for each city. We link our CSS file here. This is where we'll define the styles to make our weather app visually appealing. Finally, we include our JavaScript file at the bottom of the body. This is where all the magic will happen. We'll use JavaScript to fetch weather data from an API and update our app accordingly. Let's delve into the CSS code and see how we're going to style our weather app. We start by resetting some default styles using the universal selector. This ensures consistent styling across different browsers. Next, we set the background color of the body to a deep blue shade and add some padding to give our content some breathing room. The container class helps us to center our content on the page. We define its width, set margins to auto for centering, and add some padding for spacing. Here's where the top banner of our weather app gets its styling. We set the text color to white and make sure our heading stands out with a bold font, increased font size, and some letter spacing. Inside the top banner, we have a form for users to input the city they want to check the weather for. We style the input field to have a subtle bottom border and adjust the button to have a contrasting background color with a hover effect for interactivity. This class is responsible for styling any messages or errors that may appear below the form. Moving on to the Ajax section, where we display the weather information for the cities users search for, we set margins for spacing and define the layout of our cities using CSS Grid for a neat presentation. Each city card within the Ajax section gets its styling here. We give it a background color, adjust the padding for spacing, and add a subtle shadow effect for depth. These classes control the styling of the temperature and city name displayed on each card. We make the temperature large and bold while adding some styling to the city name for emphasis. Lastly, we style the icons representing weather conditions for each city, ensuring they're visually appealing and complement the overall design. Now that we've styled our weather app, it's time to add some functionality with JavaScript. Let's take a closer look at this JavaScript code and see how it brings our weather app to life. We start by selecting various elements from our HTML document using Query Selector and storing them in variables for easy access later on. Here, we're adding an event listener to the form to listen for when it's submitted. When the form is submitted, we prevent its default behavior to avoid page refresh. Next, we check if the city the user entered is already in the list. If it is, we prevent duplicate entries by filtering through the existing list of cities. If the city is not already in the list, we construct a URL using the OpenWeatherMap API to fetch weather data for the entered city. we make a fetch request to the API, passing in the URL we constructed. Once we receive the response, we convert it to JSON format. We then extract the necessary data from the response, including temperature, city name, country code, and weather description. Using this data, we dynamically create HTML markup for a new city card. We include the city name, temperature, weather icon, and description. Once the markup is created, we append it to the list of cities on our page. If there's an error during the fetch request, such as an invalid city name, we catch it and display an alert message to the user. And there you have it. With this JavaScript code, our weather app is now fully functional, allowing users to search for cities and view their current weather conditions. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tutorials. Thanks for watching and happy coding.